I can't tell you.
He's a tech-savvy guy, gonna show you the way. You better load your bags, cause crypto's here to stay. Listen up, gonna teach you about this and that. But he's just a goofy guy in a straw hat. So join in and have a laugh. It's gonna be a good time, that's a fact. Information and crypto parodies. Sit back and enjoy the show. You just never know which way you'll go. So get ready for Digitspin Crypto.
That's Dino. Let's put some music on. There we go. We got some music in the background. It's Dino, Digitspin Crypto, and you're watching the best Electronium show there is. Hands down. Or hands up. Whatever that is. Now, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Obviously, I'm just a goofy guy in a straw hat mumbling at the screen. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't pretend that I am. Obviously, some of the information may be helpful to you. Do with what you want with that information. Hopefully, it'll be of value to you. Now, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to explain Electronium 2019. And there's a lot of information out there, a lot of it good. You know, you got Mick Ambrose, all about tech. You got 99 Cents. He's doing a great job out there. Matthew Gray. You know, these are good channels that have a good beat on what's going on with the Electronium fork. And what I want to try to do is go over some history, some information, so that you too can understand exactly what happened with this fork. It's a bit complicated, and sometimes if you don't understand exactly what they did, your impression will be obviously not one of value to yourself or to others. So you want to make sure you got a good understanding of what's going on, and I'm here to help you guys out. All right, there's, you know, everybody wants to try to understand, and that's what we're going to try to do here. Obviously, we got a lot of folks on the chat. I see Art2000 out there, Alex. We got Paul. My buddy Paul's out there. We got what is it? M Kid, Relax. We got Alex. Let's see, you want to know me's out there. Candy Girl's out there. Good to see you. Staff Sergeant of the Marines is out there. Good to see you. So we got a lot of good folks, many viewers. We appreciate that. Now, let's start off with something simple. Obviously, as we go along, if you like what you see, let's put a like or a dislike out there. Some comments are always good. I always like to get some feedback from you. That's important, and it has value to me, has value to everybody, so that we can continue to do some good shows for you. Now, I'm going to be showing a lot of information tonight, and drawing some stuff and doodling, and if you don't like learning stuff, then this probably ain't the show for you. If you got a little patience and you want to follow through succinctly with what we're going to talk about, this will be an awesome show, and it'll hopefully add some additional value to you. Now, if you're already a crypto genius, you'll find that what I'm trying to do is produce the information in a very easy fashion. So, you know, comments, oh, you forgot this, you forgot that. You already know that stuff. What I'm trying to do is just show people the basics of what's going on. So, expect it to be as simple as possible. Want to throw a shout out to Thor's Hammer. You're going to want to take a look on Telegram and the Thor's Hammer website. You can, since we can no longer mine Electronium as a general public, There are ways to get around it where you can take your GPUs, your CPU, and throw it onto the Thor's Hammer environment. You won't be mining Electronium, you'll be mining another coin, but it instantly gets changed to Electronium, and that helps buy up some of the supply, which is a good thing. Helps dry up supply, and also make the price, hopefully continue to go up as Bitcoin will allow these days. So take a look into that. They're also looking to find a solution to be able to put, if you have an ASIC, to be able to put your ASIC out and mine a coin on Thor's Hammer and get paid in some Electronium still. So that should be pretty good. It'll probably mine something like Dero, do an instant conversion, and pay you out in Electronium. So take a look at Thor's Hammer. That's some good stuff. Core merch, I think, is giving 50% off. I saw it. I just wanted to mention it. And that's only for today. And let's get to it, I guess. As simple as that. I'm going to answer questions as we go along. So I want to do most of the presentation first, and then I'll take a lot of questions. I just want to say hello to the folks that are out there, see if there's anything specific that I wanted to hit. We got some predictions. We got a little hello Dinos. Something about Fugazi and $35. We got ETN. Oh, ETN's got a new trading pair, USDT on KuCoin. So if you trade on KuCoin, they have a US dollar trading pair. So that's pretty good. All right. So we got a lot of good stuff. And away we go. So what I want to try to do tonight is explain what exactly has happened with the fork, what they're doing. Now, Rich is calling it proof of responsibility. Now, as a company, anything you come out with, you want to try to market it and put your spin on it. And proof of responsibility is a great idea. But it's still proof of work. It's just that you and I are not included. So let's get to some of the basics. I'm going to start off with some a little bit of history, I guess, first. Let's put me over here. So what I got here is a little drawing board. We'll move the chat out of the way. I got this trusty pen, and it's supposed to be my electronic drawing board. So let's see if it... all right, so it still likes me. We'll clear that out. Alright, so let's give you a little history here. Alright, and how this worked out. And we're going to use Bitcoin for the most part, because it's the easiest to kind of explain. If I say the word Bitcoin, you know I'm talking any generic chain. A lot of the coins work differently. So we'll use Bitcoin as a sample of what we're talking about. So originally, there's something called a node, and it's a validating node. These nodes would talk to each other. So when they first started the blockchain, these four guys would get on there, and they would talk to each other. Hey, that node disappeared. They would talk to each other, and they would be what's called a validating node, a trustless validating node. All right, and what would happen is as they would talk to each other, if a transaction had happened, they would validate that transaction. So for sake of keeping this simple, each of these were running on their CPU originally, and I'm keeping this simple. They had one hash each. So they each had a 25% chance of winning, of being the one that solves and validates the block. And it would go around, and then maybe this guy over here would do it, and then this guy. So every 10 minutes, Bitcoin would throw out 50 Bitcoins, and one of these guys would get it. But what ended up happening, a lot of people started liking this, and so we started getting more of these nodes getting attached. And we're gonna, for simplicity, they all had that same 1 power attached to them. So they all had an equal chance, give or take, of winning. But now there's so many more. We had 4, we got to add another 4, that's 8, and we added another 4, that was 12. So now they had 1/12 of the chance. And what ended up happening is so many machines started going on here. Now these are validation nodes. They literally did the validating of the transactions. So many got put on here that there were thousands of them. And now your chance of actually solving and closing the block was so small that you could go days or months before you could win and get paid. So these guys said, well, how do I get the advantage so that I can earn more of these Bitcoins or these block coins or the Coinbase that gets awarded? And this guy right here, he had the clever idea. He says, you know what? I'm going to make some code and I'm going to plug my GPU into here. All right? And I'm going to have my GPU start solving it. So instead, now all these guys have a power of 1, whatever it may be, 1 hash, 1 kilohash, 1 mega hash, 1 gigahash, I don't care what it is. They had a power of 1 hash, 1 exahash. This GPU guy all of a sudden has 220 hashes. So now, if you add up all these others, let's say there's 1,000 out there. This one guy here had 220 hashes to the other 999 guys with only 1 hash. So they still could go on for months. But this guy was guaranteed 25% of all of the winnings because he had so much hash compared to all the other guys. And he was winning all these blocks and he was validating nodes. Alright. Well, this guy started to do it and he's got to 220 and he found out and he shared the program with another guy and he's getting 220 and this guy's getting 220. Now everybody was getting 220. And now it's all even again. Now you were back to doing a share of 1 of 1,000 or how many machines are out there. Now these nodes that are attached to the blockchain are the only things that are validating blocks and closing them out. It's actually doing the validation. They're trustless. Anybody could join and start doing this. Well, somebody said, let's clear this. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to just create these 4. These 4 represent thousands and tens of thousands of machines. For simplicity's sake, everybody's running their GPUs, and they're all now equal again. Well, this guy says, I'm going to make something called a pool. And to get more hash power, because my one GPU has 220 X hash, and everybody else is still at that 220, so they're all equal. So they're all getting 1/1000th of a. These are 1,000 machines. 1/1000th of a machine. So what ended up happening? This guy says, I'm gonna make a pool. And what I'm going to do is get my buddies and we're all going to connect to my machine, my pool. And all these guys that have their GPUs, 220, 220, 220, 220. I now have 220. I got 5 guys. I now have what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 1,000, 1,000, 1,100. I now have 1,100. Hash. They're always trying to one-up each other. Because the more hash that mine has, I can grab more of a chance to win the coins that this blockchain is giving out. Again, this is a generic blockchain such as Bitcoin. So this guy created a pool. These machines that are attached, these miners, that's kind of a scribbly thing, miners. These miners that are attached, they're not validating nothing. They're not talking on the blockchain. They have nothing to do with the blockchain except providing mathematical power to the pool. The pool is the validation node, and these guys are still validation nodes. And there's thousands of them out there, and then all of a sudden, somebody shares this pool software. And this guy installs it, and this guy installs it, and this guy installs it. Well, the poor guy that was the little bitty speck that was still running the 220, who's not running the pool, says there's no way I can ever win, because now these guys all have 220 times 5, 6, or whatever, how many people are backing it up with their computers, providing more hash. He goes, I have no chance. They have thousands, they have 1,000 computers attached to each, and it's just my one computer. There's no reason for me to run a node anymore. I might as well connect to this guy's pool and get a piece of the action. So now when there were all these thousands of machines, well, they all realized, hey, I'm not going to run a pool. I don't have the ability. I don't have the infrastructure. I don't have the technology behind me to be able to do that. And if I want to run a validation node, I can run a validation. I can go on there and run a validation node. It'll probably take me 30 years to earn a block. Why would I waste all that electricity for nothing? What am I going to do? I'm going to connect to a pool so I can get a piece of the action, because if this validation node wins, he's going to share it with all his buddies. Everybody's going to get a piece of the pie. So what ended up happening is all those thousands of machines came off as validation nodes. They became just horsepower for the pools that became validation. And like Richard was saying, there's only about 20 pools out there that are validating blocks. Because when everybody used to be doing it, they can't do it anymore. So they have to now back a pool. So there are now approximately, on Bitcoin, approximately 20 validated, 20 pools that are running nodes that can validate the blockchain, validate the transactions on the blockchain. Everything else is attached. These machines have nothing to do with validation. They don't validate. They're not a node. They don't do anything but add an extra engine or extra, whatever you want to call it, stuffed into the pool to make the pool, which is the validation node, that much stronger. So this is how it went from just a few, grew to many thousands and tens of thousands of machines, and then came back down to just a few again that are actually trustless validating nodes. Trustless means anybody. I can come out here and I can throw a node right now today on this system because it's trustless. Anybody can join in, and let's say I have 50,000 buddies, and all 50,000 buddies are going to say, Dino, if you open up a pool, we're going to put our GPUs or our whatever on that. Now, I can jump right in, and at any point I can say, hey, I'm a validation node, I'm a pool, and I got this army behind me pumping me up, and all those 50,000 are gonna pump me up, give me lots of power, and now I'm on the network, and I'm validating blocks, I'm earning some Bitcoin, and alright guys, I turn around and I got 50 Bitcoins, I turn around, I got 50,000 guys behind me, Everybody gets what, one thousandth of a Bitcoin every time we hit, and I pass them out. Everybody's happy. And that's how it works. That's the reason why there's only so many validating nodes. Now, electric-wise, we got a lot of machines out here spinning their wheels. And here's the thing. This network could run off of 20 CPUs, just like it did in the very beginning, with no problem. There's enough horsepower to do all the transactions and validate all the traffic that's coming through. No problem. 25, 50 machines can validate everything. But everybody wanted to one-up each other. So now all this horsepower is backing up all these different validating nodes known as pools. And there's all these machines running out here, and they're all plugged in. They're all spending electric. And what happens is there's so much power. It's the largest computing platform man has ever put together. There's so much power that it can calculate stuff in a blink of an eye. It could easily take care of validating the nodes, especially if you could do it with 50 PCs. Where's all this power? Where's all these calculations going? Well, each of these, that's where you get into where they basically are spinning their wheels until they hit a magic number. And that's what's called a difficulty. They make the difficulty. So let's say you had a random number between 1 and 1,000. Let's keep this simple. If you had a random number generator and you just had it, you clicked it between 1 and 1,000, you click it. 580, click it. 760, click it. 960, click it. 850. All right? If you got a number between 1 and 5, you would be allowed to submit your work. All right? And this is what's called a difficulty. So this node would be allowed to submit it, and this information would be processed through. So basically, the majority of the time is just set there to keep these machines busy trying to find the magic number. And then if they find the magic number, then they're allowed to send it. Basically, it's busy work. It's just making them spin their wheels because there's so much computing power that it would solve the block so fast that the blockchain could not work. It would continuously split. All right? And it needs 10 minutes. So they created difficulty. So it takes a look and it sees how many computers are out there, how much power is out there, and it creates a difficulty that would slow all of them down long enough so that they still run at the same speed as those original 20 computers that are running on a CPU. They're performing the same work as those original computers. Even though there's exahashes of power out there, they're just vaporizing it. But the end result is still the same, give or take. Simple. All right. So this is where all the electricity is spent. It's keeping all these machines spinning, doing nothing, until it magically finds the golden ticket, and then it's allowed to submit its share. All right. What has Electronium done that's changing all of this? Why is this so important? Why is everything different? What did they do? Electronium had their nodes out there. Validating nodes. They were trustless. Anybody could open up an Electronium pool originally before a couple weeks last week. They could open up a pool and they could have all of the ASICs connect to it. And they would fight over these. There was about 12 pools, maybe 15 pools out there. There was 4 of them that had the majority of the power. 4 of them had 90% of all the hash. The other ones were fighting over the last 10%. But let's show that there were 4. And we had all these ASICs out here. Alright, connected for Electronium. Here's the problem that Electronium was starting to face. There would be one or two of these pools, one of them specifically, that would have almost 50% at any given time of all the hash power. When somebody has 50%, 51% or more, they have the ability to reorganize the blockchain. In other words, a double spend. In other words, what's called a 51% attack. Luckily, it was a well-known pool, and they were honest and upfront, but they had a lot of hashing power. First problem. Second problem is we're using X3s and some others. Basically, it was the original crypto note algorithm. Here's the problem. There was only 5 coins that used it. Here's the problem. They weren't making any more. There was no reason for the ASIC manufacturers to make it because there was 5 coins that use it, and none of them were Bitcoin. So there was no demand. Electronium had it, but there was no demand for them to make more of these crypto note ASICs. So whatever basically was out there is really all you're gonna get. And whoever had them, had them. Now, Electronium turned to $100 a coin, I'm sure they'd start making ASICs. But the fact of the matter, Electronium, half a penny. There's no reason for them to make more ASICs. So these guys here that were able to put that up, there was no way for any of these other pools to be able to correct that problem. There wasn't enough ASICs out there. Now, yeah, you can get FPGAs, and you can program them with a stream to compensate for that. But the FPGA guys, you have to know what you're doing. These are seasoned people. They're corporate miners. And the fact of the matter is, they're not going to do it. So this guy had a lot of control over what was happening. And the growth of these particular miners wasn't going to go anywhere. It's a problem. So we have a problem where the blockchain would be easily offended, taken over, modified. You had all this electricity being used for these ASICs. So the Electronium's looking at it and they said, what are we going to do? Now, I had somebody asked a question. Well, how do I know they did this stuff? How do I know that there's actually code out there? The code was forked from Monero. Part of the licensing is Monero. If you fork code from Monero, which use some code from another projects and merge things together, if you use this code, it's open source. You have to continue to keep it open source, and you have to continue to post it. So you can go to GitHub. You go to Google. You type GitHub Electronium. You'll see the Electronium. You can go to the pull releases. You can look at the code. You can see what it was compared to what it is. You can go to the releases and you can download the entire source code, and you can start perusing the source code, taking a look at it, see what was modified, see what they kind of did. There's lots of notes in there, and even if you don't understand what the code's doing, even the notes come in handy. You can peruse and take a look through. Feel free to do that. But that's how we know the code has been modified and what was actually done to it. Have I peer reviewed it? No. Have I taken a look at it? Sure. I took a basic look, kind of see what they're going on. It could take me weeks to go through all that code and to kind of reverse engineer what they did and what's going on. I have other things to do. But I take a quick look at it. I can see what's going on. I can see that they added the code. 50,000 new lines of code were added to make this all happen, what they did in this fork. What did they do in the fork? Let me explain this. Let's bring this up here. I'm going to clear this screen. Let me bring up something on my screen here. So I got what, 50 people out there watching tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you. You want to do me a favor? Drop me a like or dislike, or put a comment down. But make sure you subscribe so you'll get notified, and hit that notification bell. This way you'll know when I come online, so you can get the best information possible going forward. You definitely want to subscribe. All right. Now, what did Electronium do? Well, they said, gee, it'd be nice to go back to those original 20 machines, because they were running CPUs. It kind of, you know, it's just like leaving your computer on. And what does it use? 10 cents of electricity? 25 cents of electricity a day? We want to be able to have just our original nodes sitting out there, validating nodes sitting out there. Remember, just because you have an ASIC or a GPU or a computer doesn't mean anything. You're not a validator, you're not touching the blockchain, you're not doing nothing except providing additional hash to the pool, who is the node, who is the guy that's getting credit. You're giving him extra juice. So Electronium said, how do we get this back? Because if we can get it back down to the original 20, 50, 100 computers, each running 25 cents a day, we're talking peanuts. We could do that if we start over, but then everybody's going to want to join in. So they said, you know what? Right now it's trustless. We're going to get rid of the trustless. We're going to make it trusted. Trusted nodes. We're gonna put out there 25 machines, and this is what's called a centralized SIN system. Electronium's already centralized. They're a hybrid as it was. So this was like no big stretch or issue. Everybody knew they were going trusted and centralized anyway. We're gonna make them trusted. What that means is that if Dino wants to put his node on the Electronium network, they're all gonna ignore me. They're not gonna talk to my node, my validating node, because it's not a trusted validating node. I'm gonna trust this one from this NGO, this one from this exchange, this one from this NGO, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm not sure they haven't said it, but I'm pretty sure that they brought the exchanges up as trusted nodes. At least at first, to make sure that they had enough horsepower to keep everything running until the NGOs come online. It would make sense to me. I don't know that for a fact, but I would tend to think that they did. Now, so Electronium put out there and they said, all right, we got a few machines. We're going to let you guys run on CPUs, because 20 CPUs can validate all the transactions. You don't need all that other stuff spinning around out there, wasting all that electricity just to get that little tiny number so that it can send a share in. It spends 99.9% of its life just burning electricity, providing zero value. Let's put these original machines on, and we're going to call them trusted. How are they going to keep Dino from throwing his node out there? Well, they're going to give keys. ETN is one of the trusted nodes, and it's going to issue a key to each one of these guys. So each one of these guys are going to have a key. I have no key. And to be able to talk to each other and validate transactions on the blockchain, you have to have the keys to talk to the blockchain. Just like you have keys to be able to see the coins in your address to talk on the blockchain, you've got to have a proper key. So these keys are physically issued and they're installed into these computers. The computer knows the key, and the others it'll be validated, and the key will allow all of these folks to be able to talk. Each guy has a different key. All right. So now we have a trusted environment that even if somebody out here wanted to join in and tried to poke their way in, they'll just be ignored. You won't be part of the plan. You're not invited. It's not your party. So these 20 machines can talk to each other, and now all of a sudden, you're not using all of these miners anymore. The cord for all these miners has been clipped. No longer needed. Snip. All of them are gone. Because they don't need to put additional horsepower into that validating node anymore. So goodbye. Goodbye ASICs, goodbye GPUs, goodbye whatever. Snipped. Just these 20 machines running on a CPU can validate everything, take care of everything. You've cut the electric consumption thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Something that you could run in your house could run the entire ELECTRONEUM blockchain with just the power in your house with 150 amps, and still have electricity left over for your refrigerator, your TV, your microwave, your stove, your washer machine, dryer machine, and everything else. The power use is less than one household, far less. So it saves now a lot of electricity. All right, well, what if somebody gets in here and steals the computer and steals the key and tries to duplicate it on lots of machines? So that I go out here and I put a few machines out here, say they got a bad actor, and he duplicates the software and puts it on a couple of his own computers. Well, what's going to happen is he's going to get the edge. He's going to throw a couple of GPUs in there, start running, and overpower it, and think that he's gonna now, because I stole the key, I've installed it on this computer, and I got the GPUs running. I'm gonna run on the GPUs with a crypto note. I'll blow these other guys out of the water because I'll have 1,000 times all their hash power. And he starts to do that, and he's successful at first. And what happens is, boom, he's gonna get awarded. All right. But if he's got 50, 60, 70% of the hash power, all of a sudden, boom, he's going to get awarded again. ELECTRONEUM is monitoring proof of responsibility. ELECTRONEUM has a second layer that's monitoring all the transactions that are going on. And it's going to say, oh, wait a second. Same machine cannot win the block in a row. It's got to be another machine. If your machine is winning block, 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 there's something wrong. You, whoever you are, have done something wrong because you have horsepower that far exceeds, because all of these should be almost equivalent in power. Basically. All of a sudden you got a machine that's got thousands of times more of the power, and it's bang, bang, bang. ELECTRONEUM is going to halt. It's got a security, it's got a police officer. It's going to say, wait a minute, you can't win 2 blocks in a row. Something's wrong, and it's going to lock out this key. It's going to be a monitoring. It's called a second layer. A second layer. And that second layer that ELECTRONEUM has will immediately stop that key, block it out of the system because something has gone wrong. And bloop, that nodes are ignored. So the proof of responsibility is between these guys here, ELECTRONEUM being the police officer, making sure everything has gone right, make sure everything is going on If a node gets in here that doesn't belong, doing some funky business, the second layer solution from that Electronium monitoring system, its daemon, is gonna just lock them out. Pretty good system. Very interesting, but this is how it works. There is no more miners. You have other shows telling you there's no miners. From us, from the public. Only trusted miners, which is these CPUs, which are trusted validating nodes. Now, you can put a node on the system that will allow it to listen and talk, because you can run a CLI wallet. And that's, if you go to the GitHub and you go to the releases, you can download the new CLI wallet. That will allow you to send transactions and receive transactions. It does not let you validate nodes, validate transactions. So you can set up a node. You can download the blockchain. You can see all the activity that's going on. You can send Electronium. You can receive Electronium. You cannot validate because you're not a trusted node. So you'll be ignored. But you can listen and window in on things. So you know the stuff is working. You can see the transactions happening. You can see the difficulty is itty bitty. Alright? So that's what you would download if you're going to download a CLI wallet node. And that's how that works. Alright. I think I've gone through all the basics of what's going on here, why there's no more miners, how the electricity is going to be saved, how this dual layer proof of responsibility, Electronium says it. The fact of the matter is, I love proof of responsibility. From a corporate marketing standpoint, it's a great thing to do. Great terminology to coin, because you want to coin something. It's my company. Electronium wants to coin something and come up with a term to explain trusted validated nodes communicating with each other using a key with a second layer cop, keeping an eye on things to make sure that their responsibility is being handled correctly, and knocks out anybody that's failing to act responsibility. But the fact of the matter, this is proof of work with trusted validating nodes. That's all this is, with a second layer solution on top of it that's monitoring, keeping an eye on it, a watchdog. You can call it a watchdog. Keeping an eye on everything that everybody's doing to make sure nobody pokes their head in when they don't belong. Make sure no funny business is going to happen. And if it does, it locks them out. But it's proof of work. From the very beginning, the simplicity and basics of this is brilliant. I love it. Technology-wise, it's great. This is a wonderful solution. Eco-friendly, fast, extremely scalable. These nodes all have an even share of winning. You can get 50, 100 on the network. They all will earn some coins. Now keep in mind, they took it, whatever was being earned, which was approximately, what was it? Was it 7,000, 6,000? Let's just say it was 7,000 coins every 2 minutes. Well, they've cut that down 75%, so you only get 25% of that. That's 3,500, that's 1,750 coins. All right, every 2 minutes. So whoever wins gets 1,750 coins. Well, I heard somebody out there saying, oh, you're going to give them repeatedly 25% of what you used to get? Well, the fact of the matter is, as a validating node, and there was thousands of ASICs out there, and it would get the 7,000, it would have to divide it by 1,000. I would get 7 ETN. So every time the block would win, I would get 7 ETN for my work on my ASIC. These guys are going to get 1,750. On average, they're going to make about 50,000 coins a day. I would make 220 coins a day per ASIC. So even though they're cutting it by 25%, I personally think that's way too generous. They're giving away a ton of coins to whoever's winning, because there's only 25 people that can win now. It doesn't have to be shared with 10,000 ASICs. You win, you get all 1,750. So these guys are going to clean up. On average, they should make approximately 50,000 coins a day. A ton of coins. It's 50,000 times more than I was making with 6 ASICs. Or 5 ASICs. Spending all that electricity. So these guys, don't let anybody give you nonsense that they are getting less. They're gonna clean up whoever's on this trusted node. Now, I wish I could stake. Let's say you could put 1 million Electronium up for a stake and become a trusted node. I would love to sign up for that program. I thought that would be great if I could be a trusted node. But you have to put up, maybe 1 million coins that you lose if you act badly, and you get tossed off and you lose your principal. It's basically say, hey, I'm going to put up 1 million coins to prove that I'm gonna be trustworthy. And if I burp the wrong way, you take my 1 million coins and you throw me off. That would be a cool option. But I'm sure there's going to be plenty of NGOs and exchanges and stuff that will want to be part of this program, and the NGOs should probably grow. I don't know if they'll hit 100, but they can hit 50. They'll start off with 20, 25. They'll probably easily hit 50. It'd be nice if they made 50 more spots open for trusted, staked nodes. Just a thought, talking to you guys on Electronium. All right. There's a lot of information there. I hope I was able to explain it. My doodling is pretty bad. But it's there. I hope it helped when I was going through the explanation of everything, so that you can kind of follow along with my thought process. Let's take a look. Bring up the chat. I have no idea what's going on out there. Alright, let's see what we got. Now keep in mind, this is a nice revolution, because what basic Electronium done with this proof of responsibility coin solution, they've taken the blockchain and brought it back to its raw essence. What Satoshi Nakamoto invented to begin with, before it grew out of control. The raw essence of it. But it has to be done centralized. It has to be a trusted environment. Maybe otherwise people will join in if it was untrusted. So it becomes a centralized system, which is not. So, yeah. The good news is there's thousands of coins out there, and each one gets to try something different. And some of them will work, and some won't. And what I see here, this process, there's going to be 75% less coins as a whole, because they had to pour out coins to give it to all the ASICs to keep the hash rate up, so they didn't get 51% attacked. And farms were grabbing them and they were cashing them out. If you'd go to pool in, and you go right up to the top, and you click on the button and you say pay me in Bitcoin, they would mine Electronium, convert them, and throw me Bitcoin. I would never see the Electronium. They would just sell them every day at 4 a.m. Universal time, or whatever the heck that is. That would be putting constant downward pressure on Electronium, all those coins. So this would be a start. If we can start to soak that up and get rid of it. People use Thor's hammer, which is mining some other coin and then buying the Electronium instead of selling the Electronium. That now creates some buying. If you start to see the price slowly work its way up, That creates excitement. Now you're getting more demand. Now people come in, look at these guys are making 10% this month, 10%, 10%. And it slowly works its way up, and all of a sudden you're starting to get a demand. These guys, are up 200%. I gotta get my hands on some of these, and now you have growth that's phenomenal. That's what you would think would happen. No guarantees or anything. Anything can happen. But that's a good basic model based on what I see here. That's my personal opinion. That you're going to see slow growth. That's going to be constantly increasing. Yeah, is it going to be dips? Yeah, when Bitcoin drops, it's going to drop. When Bitcoin goes up super high, it's going to drop again because the Bitcoin value now is smaller. Bitcoin's a whole other issue. It's sucking all of the life and the air out of the room. And there's no way for any altcoin to compete. All the altcoins are getting their butts handed to them right now. The good thing, the altcoins are holding their fiat value, but you're losing Bitcoin value. But if you sell through, you'll get your money back. You just wouldn't have earned anything, where if it was in Bitcoin and it's now worth 2-3 times as much. And until Bitcoin settles down, alts are going to have a hard time. But now you also keep in mind they're going to release in multiple countries. You're going to create more demand. You're going to have the Gig Guru environment set up. You're going to have instant payment come out of beta and get it into vendors with the subscription capabilities, refunds, and all sorts of other good stuff. So you're going to start to see more usage of the coin. So let's take a look. Let's see what you guys got out here. All right. Let's get to the question and answer section. I hope that was helpful. Do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. That's always good stuff. It's always helpful to me, and I appreciate each and every one of you that has spent tonight with me to hear me mumble at the screen. So Debo goes, hey Dino, I think I could see more people buying than selling at some point. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're on target there. There's no doubt in my mind that yeah, I think you're right. No, there's no doubt. You're going to see, with this, bringing it back to its basic roots like this is such a simplistic idea, but yet hard to accomplish. And Electronium performed this well. And I can't believe that we'll be at the same price that we are now, next year. I just find it hard to believe. I would be shocked and surprised. All right. MKid says, it'd be nice to make it easier for people outside of crypto to purchase Electronium. That's the next hurdle. Yeah, and once you have a website that can purchase with a Visa card, a gig, pays the person an Electronium, I would tend to think that you could use that money exchanger who has a license to perform Electronium purchases. And of course, they're going to get a fee on it. You may be paying 6% to do that, but it'd be neat and it'd be great for easy, for easy use. So I think that's definitely possible. Electronium Universe goes, we love your work, Dino. You always explain so well. And where the heck is Miner 49er?
Well, he's hitting over here. That Dino fella's taking care of everything tonight.
Let's see. Let's see what else we got out here. We got lots of good questions here. Yeah, it's tricky to get people interested. Try to get some new folks. Gave them 8,500 Electronium each. They lost interest. Yeah, no, it's true. So Jonathan saying, hey JC, it's tricky really to get people outside of crypto to get interested. I tried once to introduce them to Electronium. I gave them 8,500 ETN each when it was worth 128 sats, and they lost interest when it went down. Well, the fact of the matter is, it shouldn't have mattered to them. They didn't pay for the Electronium, and they should be learning how this works. And this is the problem. I think it comes more to not the price, but a lot of the general public just does not understand what exactly is happening behind their back with the Federal Reserve as far as their actual fiat money, and what's happening behind their back with cryptocurrency, and how it's going to revolutionize the transaction of money. And most people could care less. They don't understand. They won't bother to figure it out until it hits them. How many people figure out how to take a class in basic economics, understand how to balance a checkbook, or do that? They don't even do that with their fiat money. They're not going to care. And they're just, some people just don't care. Money, they could care less. You know they got to go to work, and then they get paid, and they want to complain that they're, hey, I'm only making $5.50 an hour, and instead of understanding the principles of money, and not everybody has the same opportunity, so let's put that to the side. But very few people understand money and how to save it, how to use it, how to apply it. And whether it's cryptocurrency or little pieces of paper, ain't gonna make a difference. All right. Let's see what we got here. Daily News is saying up to 20 more countries this year, but more importantly, who are the mobile operators, and will any of them be the mobile giants we know Electronium have in the pipeline? Stay tuned. We'll have to find out. Listen, you can't go to South America using the unlimited. So, if you were smart, you would go online and you would look up mobile network operators in South America. I would look into things like Paraguay and Chile and a few of the other countries that are down there that are relatively stable, and take a look at what phone companies are there, and you will probably see some connections. I don't know if I wasn't told anything. I don't know anything, but it would seem pretty obvious to me. Things like it would seem pretty obvious to me. If you take a look, you'll know. I don't want to open my mouth up yet. All right, I'll save that for another show. I gotta have something new to tell you guys. All right, let's see what else we got here. What's considered a big holder? I don't know. Anybody who's got 10,000 or more, I guess, is a big holder. Could be considered a minnow. If you're talking a whale, I'm sure you're talking about people that have 1 million or more. And I'm sure there are people out there that have 50 million or more. I have seen transactions of 50 million Electronium go by on the Blockchain Explorer. So there are some people out there that have a lot of Electronium. Not me. I always call myself the flounder. Watch out, the flounder's coming through. Let's see. Rich Wealthy. Let's see what he has to say. Rich Wealthy says, Dino, why do you think they haven't got any major chain in non-third world? Any deal like fast food, coffee shops, etc.? That's a good question. I don't think, if you take a look, that any of the fast food, coffee shops, or etc. have taken really on any cryptocurrency. If you take a look at Microsoft and Starbucks, and they're using intermediaries. In other words, there's a service that has a list of 10 coins, and they give an API and a widget to pop into your website, and it goes through them like a payment processor. So that third party is taking on all of the risk and counterparty and all the other nonsense, and basically converting whatever coin that they have on their list to cash, and then paying the vendor in cash. So it may look like they're accepting it, and they're Quora Merch accepts Electronium, and you actually send the Electronium to Quora Merch. There's always exceptions. I'm talking in general on these big companies. None of them are actually accepting the coins, except for maybe the guys from Medici Ventures. What's that website? Closeout.com or whatever the heck it is. I'm sure he's accepted them directly, or maybe not. He may even be converting them. But the fact of the matter, this third-party service is doing all that. So it's not an ETN issue. I just don't think the retailers are ready yet in the United States. There will be retailers, I know that Egypt, there was a guy there looking, and he started to put the instant payment into the cash register, but he needs, be able to refund. He needs to be able to do other things that aren't set up yet. So Electronium, once I'm sure Electronium gets these additional features, that's going to help out a lot. And then we can start getting into more retail type of solutions. Right now, the only thing that it would be good for is like a vending machine. I'm dying to take my vending machine and modify it. Just put a little pie in there and then trip the circuit to pay the counter click so that people can buy soda, and then I can give bonuses out to people. So what I was planning on doing is putting that in the soda machine, and then when I don't like to say one of my employees, but when one of the associates of my shop, do something good, I send them some Electronium, and then they can go up to the soda machine and then bloop, bloop, pay for it and give some free sodas. So I can, this way they can spend it on some free sodas as a thank you, and I'm working on it. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get finished. I have the soda machine, and I have a lot of stuff in place. I just haven't finished it yet. Yeah, I'm always busy, but so a one-way purchase that works fine for it. So Electronium Universe says, yeah, Dino, I have a coffee house in Virginia who wants to start accepting Electronium. So he's trying to help him out. Yeah, and Electronium Universe, smart bunch of guys, and they do a lot of programming and what have you. You'll see him on there, Rasta G, and good luck with that. I hope it works out. That would be pretty exciting. Let us know if it happens so we can promote that guy. H-Bomb, I see you out there. It's an old one, so I don't have it on my immediate screen. But H-Bomb, I see you had a question way back here. Hey, Dino. Oh, here it goes. Hey, Dino, does Thor's Hammer mine coins? You could throw your ASIC on and get paid in Electronium. So, yes, you want to go to Thor's Hammer. Check them out. They have a Telegram group, which has a lot of folks on there. And they'll be able to help you through the process to set up your mining rig, whether it's just one GPU or you have a whole rig of 5 or 6 GPUs, and they can set you up so that you can mine. And basically, you're mining another coin. You're not mining Electronium because you can't. You're not. There are no validator pools anymore on Electronium. There are only trusted validation nodes from very specific companies or NGOs. Now, a lot of us had these ASICs. So Thor's Hammer is setting up an ASIC pool, and we'll throw that crypto note hash power at a coin, such as, I don't know, there's Xenobit, there's 3 or 4 of them out there. It'll generate coins, and then you'll sell them, and then it'll convert them to Electronium, and it'll pay you in Electronium. And basically what that means is that you're buying Electronium. You're creating a constant purchase. So the more people using Thor's hammer, inadvertently you're buying up the coins to help make the price. Everything I see here makes the price go up. Does it go up tomorrow? No. Do I see a nice steady climb from this point forward? I absolutely do. And my personal opinion, I'm just a goofy guy in a straw hat. It's not financial advice. All right. So, let's take a look here. Crypto Dog, I see you out there. Let's see. Let me see if I can go back and find your Crypto Dog. He helps moderate my the Digitspin channel. You want to go to down below in the description. I have my Telegram channel. It's a private link for only the viewers of the show. If people can't type in Digitspin and find it, you have to watch my show, and only people that watch my show can get it. You go down to the comments, you open up below the fold there in the description, and in there you'll see a link to the private Digitspin Telegram channel. And there's a lot of good information, and we discuss, and the guys on that channel know stuff way ahead of everybody else, because we sit there and we discuss these things. And people ask questions, and we review it and talk about it. Something you may want to check out. And of course, there are other Telegram channels that I recommend on there in my list. Alright, let's see here. Trying to find your Crypto Dog. I may have to read your comment out loud because I'm not able to find it in the list. Because I'm obviously not that talented. Anyway, you had in here. H-bomb, Crypto Dog. Put Red Bull in the vending machines. Charged ETN employee mobile mining production up. Bonus idea: beer vending machines. Yeah, no, so, yeah, you can do anything you like with the beer with a vending machine. I can't have beer in my company. Now everybody walking around with no fingers after they use the saw. But there's so much you could do. But I'm working on building something to put into a vending machine. It's the perfect answer for ETN. You know, it's 50 cents a soda. You pay for it, clicks, boom, push the button, you get your freaking soda. Alright. I think it'd be cool. As soon as I get it running, I'll put it online here. Alright. Let's see what else. Let's go back to the top team. What new questions we got here? RJ's going, yeah, you pay your Electronium and you get a free small fry. Alright. Hey, listen, I love all you guys. Wake you up. I appreciate you guys all stopping. Congratulations to each and every one of you that have stayed this long and listened to the instructional video and talked with me. If you have any more questions, drop them on the Telegram. I'll try to answer them. Drop them in the comments below. Yeah, make sure you subscribe, because this is the best channel on YouTube to know about Electronium. Good night, guys, and I appreciate each and every one of you. See you next time.